The wounded encounter. The battlefield in space was silent now. Ships floated like broken bones in the dark sky. Smoke and fire burned from shattered engines. Among the wreckage, one small escape pod drifted down toward a strange alien world. Inside was a human soldier, his body weak, blood on his lips, and his eyes heavy with pain. His name was Daniel. Daniel had fought bravely in the war, but his ship was destroyed, and now he was alone. The pod hit the ground hard, sliding across the rough soil. Sparks flew, metal bent, and the soldier cried out in agony. He tried to stand, but his legs would not listen. His chest hurt, and he felt the cold hand of death reaching for him. The world around him was silent, but not for long. Strange glowing plants lit the forest, and the air smelled of sharp herbs. He thought he saw shadows moving between the tall trees. Daniel reached for his blaster, but his hands were too weak to lift it. His vision blurred, and darkness pulled him closer. Then he heard soft footsteps. Someone was coming. Out of the glowing mist she appeared. An alien woman, tall and graceful. Her skin shimmering faint blue under the strange light. Her eyes glowed softly, not with anger but with calmness. She wore white robes that looked like flowing water. Her hands carried a small crystal container that glowed with life. Daniel's weak voice broke the silence. "Stay back." "Who are you?" The alien woman kneeled beside him. Her voice was gentle, almost like a song. "Do not fear, human. I am a healer. You are hurt. If you want to live, you must trust me." Her words were strange, yet Daniel understood. His chest rose and fell with sharp breaths. He wanted to push her away, but his body was too broken. She leaned closer, studying his wounds. Her fingers touched his skin, and he flinched. Her touch was cool, almost soothing. "You are dying," she whispered. "If you want to survive, close your eyes." Daniel's heart raced. He did not understand her methods, but something in her voice made him pause. Close his eyes? Trust an alien stranger? In war, trust was dangerous, but he had no choice. He could feel death coming step by step. With hesitation, Daniel shut his eyes. He felt her arms lift him gently, surprising him with strength he did not expect. She held him close, pressing something warm to his lips. At first he resisted, but then a strange liquid touched his tongue. Sweet, heavy, and full of energy, he swallowed without meaning to. Suddenly fire rushed through his veins. His body trembled, his wounds burned, but then the pain softened. His strength began to return little by little. He opened his eyes in shock. The alien nurse was still there, her expression calm, but her cheeks glowing faintly as if she knew she was doing something forbidden. What are you giving me?" Daniel asked, his voice breaking. "My gift," she said simply. "My people call it life's milk. It heals, it restores, but it must remain a secret." Daniel stared at her, confusion mixing with fear. Milk from her? It sounded impossible, unbelievable. Yet he could feel his body already changing. The pain was less. The bleeding slowed. His breath became easier. The nurse's eyes met his. For a moment, the battlefield, the wreckage, the war, all of it disappeared. There was only silence, the glow of alien plants, and the strange bond forming between a dying soldier and a healer from another world. Daniel's mind screamed questions. Why was she helping him? Why risk her life for an enemy? What did she mean by secret? But before he could speak, she placed a finger gently against his lips. "Do not speak. Save your strength. Others must not find us. They will not understand." Her words carried a heavy warning. Daniel realized the danger was not over. In fact, it was only beginning. If others of her kind discovered this, both of them might pay the price. Yet in that moment, as his body healed under her care, one thought filled his mind. He was alive. Only because of her, and deep inside he felt a strange fear. Not of her, but of what would happen when the world discovered what she had done. The wounded encounter had just begun. The healing secret. Daniel woke slowly, his body warm instead of cold, his breath steady instead of broken. For a moment he thought he was still in the wreckage of his ship, but when he opened his eyes, the truth shocked him. He was lying inside a small cave, its walls glowing faintly with blue crystals. The air smelled fresh, almost sweet, and the sound of water dripping echoed around him. He tried to move, and though his wounds still ached, the sharp pain was gone. His chest was wrapped in glowing cloth, warm to the touch. Then he saw her. The alien nurse was kneeling near a pool of glowing liquid, her hands cupping water to wash her face. Her white robes shimmered, but her eyes were full of quiet worry. She turned, and when she saw him awake, relief washed over her face. "You survived," she said softly. "I did not know if the first dose would be enough." Daniel's throat felt dry. He wanted to ask questions, 1,000 of them, but only one came out. "What did you do to me?" The nurse stood, walking toward him with slow, graceful steps. She knelt beside him again, her eyes locking with his. "I gave you what no human has ever tasted. My people's gift, my milk. It is forbidden to share it with outsiders." Daniel froze. His heart pounded. He remembered the strange sweetness, the fire that spread through his body, the way death had slipped away. It was true, he was alive because of her, but the word forbidden stuck in his mind like a knife. Why would it be forbidden? He whispered, her eyes lowered, shadows crossing her face. "Because it is not only healing. It is power. It changes those who drink it. Your body will be stronger now, your wounds will close faster. But if my people discover this, they will call me a traitor, and they will kill you for stealing what is theirs." Daniel's breath caught. Stronger, faster? He had heard stories of alien medicine, but nothing like this. And she had given it to him freely. Why? "You should have let me die," he said bitterly. "Now you're in danger because of me." The nurse shook her head firmly. "No, I could not. When I saw you broken, I heard the cry of your spirit. My oath is to heal, even if it costs me my life." Her words struck him harder than any weapon. This alien woman was risking everything, not for power, not for reward, but for him. A stranger, an enemy even. Silence filled the cave. Daniel could hear only the slow dripping of water and the pounding of his own heart. Then the nurse leaned closer, her voice dropping to a whisper. "You must not tell anyone. If other healers know, they will come for us both. Close your eyes again, human. You need more if you are to walk." Daniel hesitated. Part of him feared the power she spoke of. Part of him wondered what it would turn him into. But another part remembered the battlefield, the silence of death creeping close, and how she had pulled him back. Slowly he shut his eyes. Her hands lifted him once more, cradling him gently. Warmth touched his lips, and he drank again. The strange taste filled him, heavy and alive. His body shivered as new strength surged through him, sharper this time, like lightning running through his blood. His eyes snapped open. He gasped, clutching his chest. His heartbeat was strong, his limbs firm. He could feel his muscles tightening, healing faster than any human medicine could allow. The nurse pulled away, her expression calm, but her glowing eyes studied him carefully. "It works," she murmured. "Your body accepts it. You are not like the others." Daniel frowned. "Others, you mean? I'm not the first?" Her silence was the answer. She turned her face away, but her hands trembled. Daniel realized with a shock that there was more to this secret. Maybe other humans had once received this gift. Maybe they had died. Maybe they had become something else. What happened to them? Daniel demanded, his voice stronger now. The nurse whispered, almost too quietly. They were destroyed. High people feared what they might become. Daniel's blood ran cold, destroyed. Not because the milk failed, but because the aliens feared its power in human hands. He clenched his fists, anger boiling inside him. His people were fighting a war for survival, dying in thousands. While the cure, the strength, the hope was hidden right here in this cave, inside this one woman. For the first time, Daniel saw the truth. Her gift was not just healing. It was a weapon. And now it was inside him. The nurse touched his shoulder, breaking his dark thoughts. "Do not let rage guide you. Your body may heal, but your heart must remain human. That is why I chose you." Her words confused him. Chose him? Out of all the dying soldiers, why him? What did she see in him? Before he could ask, a distant sound echoed outside the cave. Heavy footsteps. Voices speaking in the alien tongue. The nurse's eyes widened. Fear flashed across her face. She quickly helped Daniel to his feet, whispering urgently, "They are searching. If they find us, they will take me away, and you will not live to see the sun." Daniel's newly healed body trembled, but strength burned within him. He picked up a sharp piece of metal from the wreckage near the cave entrance, gripping it tight like a blade. His jaw set. "Then we fight," he said firmly. The nurse looked at him with shock and something else, a flicker of hope. For the first time, she believed this human might be more than just a patient. He might be the reason everything changed. The healing secret was no longer hidden. The forbidden bond. The cave grew darker as night settled outside. The soft glow of crystals flickered on the walls, casting strange shadows over Daniel and the alien nurse. The sound of footsteps outside had faded, but the danger still hung heavy in the air. Daniel sat against the wall, his body stronger now, though his mind was restless. He had been a soldier all his life, but never before had he felt something so strange, this mix of fear, gratitude, and connection. Every time he looked at the nurse, he felt the weight of what she had risked for him. The nurse sat across from him, her hands folded tightly. She had not spoken for a long time, but her glowing eyes stayed fixed on him. Finally, she broke the silence. "You should not be alive," she whispered. "Any other healer would have left you to die." Daniel leaned forward. "Then why didn't you?" Her eyes lowered, a shadow passing over her face. "Because I saw something. In your eyes. You were not just fighting to live for yourself. You were fighting for others. Your people. I could not let that flame go out." Her words hit him hard. He thought of his comrades, of the ships burning in the void, of Earth waiting for soldiers who might never return. She was right. He had fought not for survival, but for duty, and somehow she had seen it in him. But even as he listened to her, he noticed something else. Her voice trembled slightly. Her hands shook when she spoke of the danger. She was not only a healer, she was afraid. Daniel's voice softened. "They'll come after you, won't they?" She nodded slowly. "If they find out what I did, I will be cast out. Maybe worse. Then why are you still here? Why not run while you can?" Her glowing eyes met his, and for the first time, he saw more than duty in them. He saw something human, something fragile. "Because I cannot leave you. Not yet." Silence stretched between them, heavy and sharp. Daniel felt his heart tighten. This was more than healing now. She had bound herself to him and he to her. A forbidden bond, born in the shadows of war. But before he could speak, a low growl echoed outside the cave. The nurse's eyes widened. She rushed to the entrance, placing her hand against the stone. "Not soldiers," she whispered. "Hunters!" Daniel rose quickly, his body tense. "Hunters?" "They track by scent," she said quickly. "They know a human is here. They will not stop until you are dead." Daniel tightened his grip on the sharp metal shard he had taken. His body trembled, not with weakness, but with new strength. He could feel the alien gift in his blood. He was no longer the broken soldier who had crashed here. He was something more. The first creature appeared, crawling on 4 legs, its body covered in scales that shimmered under the crystal light. Its eyes glowed red and its teeth dripped with saliva. Behind it, more shadows moved. Daniel stepped forward, but the nurse grabbed his arm. "No, you are still healing." "I'm stronger than before," he said firmly. "Because of you." Before she could stop him, the creature lunged. Daniel swung the shard with surprising speed, cutting deep into its neck. The beast shrieked, collapsing in a pool of dark blood. His chest heaved, but he was alive, stronger, faster. The nurse's eyes widened in shock. "It's working," she whispered. "The milk is changing you faster than I thought." More hunters rushed from the trees, their claws slashing, their growls shaking the cave. Daniel fought like a man reborn. Every strike was sharper, every movement faster. The creatures fell one by one until silence returned. Daniel stood in the cave entrance, his body shaking from exhaustion, but his eyes burning with fire. He turned to the nurse, who stared at him with a mix of awe and fear. "You see?" he said, his voice rough. "Your secret doesn't just heal. It turns me into something they can't kill." The nurse stepped closer, her hand trembling as it touched his chest. "That is what I fear. If others see what you have become, they will not let you live. They will destroy you just like the others." Daniel grabbed her hand, holding it firmly. "Then they'll have to go through me. And maybe, through us." Her eyes widened. She felt the bond forming, stronger than any law, stronger than fear. She had saved his life, but now he was becoming her shield. Yet deep inside, she knew this path was dangerous. The bond between a human and an alien nurse was forbidden, a fire that could burn them both. And still, she could not step away. Outside, the night grew quiet again, but the air carried a promise others would come. The council would not ignore the whispers of hunters and the signs of broken laws. Daniel and the nurse stood together in the cave, their breaths heavy, their eyes locked. They were no longer just healer and patient. They were something else. Something dangerous. The forbidden bond had been sealed. The discovery and betrayal. The night ended in uneasy silence. The hunters' bodies lay outside the cave, their blood dark against the glowing plants. Daniel stood over them, breathing hard. The alien nurse watched him with a mixture of awe and fear. She had saved his life, but what he had become frightened even her. For hours they did not speak. She cleaned his wounds again, her hands careful, while Daniel sat in silence, sharpening the metal shard he used as a weapon. Finally, she broke the silence. "They will come," she whispered. "The council will know. The hunters are their eyes. They will sense what happened here." Daniel met her glowing eyes. "Then we run before they find us." But it was too late. A sound echoed through the forest. The sharp hum of energy weapons, boots crushing soil, and the harsh language of alien soldiers. The nurse's face paled. She grabbed Daniel's hand. "Hide, please. If they see you healed, they'll know what I've done." Daniel shook his head. "I won't leave you." Before she could argue, a blinding light cut into the cave. Alien soldiers in black armor stormed in, their weapons aimed. The leader stepped forward, his helmet reflecting the glow of the crystals. His voice was sharp and cold. "Leora," he said, speaking the nurse's name with contempt. "You have betrayed your people." The nurse's head dropped. "I swore an oath to heal." The soldier's gaze shifted to Daniel. His eyes narrowed. "And you fed him? You gave him the sacred milk." Daniel stepped forward, his muscles tense, ready to strike. But the nurse raised her hand, silently begging him to wait. "You do not understand," she pleaded. "He was dying. I could not let him perish." The leader raised his weapon. "The council forbids sharing our gift with outsiders. You know the punishment." Two soldiers seized her arms, pulling her toward the light outside. Daniel's heart pounded. Rage burned through him. He wanted to rip them apart, to show them what their forbidden gift had made him. But when he tried to move, more soldiers blocked his path. One of them sneered. "Stay down, human. Your kind is weak." Daniel's jaw tightened. He looked at Leora, the nurse, struggling in their grip. Her eyes filled with silent fear. She shook her head as if to say, "Don't fight." But the bond between them was stronger than any order. Daniel's voice came out low, steady, and dangerous. "You made one mistake." The soldiers laughed. "And what is that?" Daniel's eyes blazed. "You think I'm weak." With a sudden roar, he lunged forward. The shard in his hand slashed across the nearest soldier's armor, sparks flying. The alien stumbled back, shocked. Daniel moved faster than human eyes should allow, his strikes powered by the nurse's gift. The cave exploded into chaos. Blaster fire lit up the walls. Daniel dodged, rolled, and struck, his movements sharper than ever. One soldier fell, then another. The nurse cried out, torn between fear and hope. The leader raised his weapon to fire, but Daniel grabbed a fallen blaster and shot first. The energy blast hit the leader's chest, throwing him against the cave wall. Silence fell for a heartbeat. Daniel stood in the center, chest heaving, weapon in hand. The soldiers lay defeated at his feet. His body shook with adrenaline, his eyes burning with fury. Slowly he turned to Leora. She stared at him, her lips trembling. You should not have done this. Now they will hunt us both." Daniel dropped the blaster, stepping closer. "They were going to take you. I won't let that happen. Not while I live." Her heart pounded. No human had ever defied her people like this, and no one had ever risked everything to protect her. But even as she looked at him, fear remained in her voice. "The council will not forgive this. They will send more, stronger. You don't understand what you've started." Daniel clenched his fists. "Then let them come. If they want to fight, they'll learn what humans are capable of." For the first time, Leora felt a strange spark deep inside her. Not just fear, not just duty. Something else. Something dangerous. But before she could speak, a faint voice rose from the cave floor. One of the wounded soldiers still lived. His hand pressed a small device, blinking red. Leora's eyes widened. "A beacon," he called them. Daniel cursed under his breath. "Then we move now." He grabbed her hand, pulling her deeper into the forest. Behind them, the beacon pulsed like a heartbeat, sending their location into the skies. As they disappeared into the glowing woods, Leora whispered one final warning. "You don't understand, Daniel. Saving me has made you a fugitive, and standing with me means standing against an empire." Daniel's grip tightened on her hand, his eyes hard. Then so be it. The discovery had been made. The betrayal had begun, and the war was only just starting. The choice that changed everything. The forest burned with light. Red beams cut through the trees as alien ships descended from the sky. The beacon had done its work. The council's hunters were coming. Daniel and Leora ran through the glowing woods, their breath sharp, their steps quick. Every shadow felt like an enemy, every sound like a threat. Daniel's hand never left hers. He could feel her trembling, but her grip on him was strong. Finally, they reached a cliff overlooking the valley. The night air carried the sound of engines. Dozens of soldiers were landing below, their armor shining under the alien moons. Daniel looked at the overwhelming force and clenched his jaw. There are too many. Leora's glowing eyes filled with sorrow. It is over. If they capture me, they will erase me from my people. If they capture you, they will tear you apart to see what my milk has done to you. Daniel turned to her, his voice steady. Then we don't let them capture us. She shook her head. You do not understand. They will never stop. As long as I live, they will chase us. And as long as you live, they will fear what you could become. Her words cut deep. Daniel realized she was right. The gift she had given him had changed everything. Not just his body, but the balance of power between humans and her people. The soldiers moved closer, their searchlights sweeping the cliff. Time was running out. Daniel stepped forward, standing tall against the glowing valley. Then we fight. If this is the end, we end it together. But Leora's voice broke, soft and trembling. No, Daniel. You gave me hope. But I cannot let you die for me. There is still a chance for you, for your people. Daniel grabbed her shoulders, forcing her to meet his eyes. And what about you? I won't leave you behind. Her heart pounded. She had never felt this torn. Between her duty as a healer, her loyalty to her people, and this forbidden bond with a human who had shown her courage beyond anything she had known. The sound of boots grew louder. The soldiers were almost there. Suddenly, Leora pulled a glowing crystal from her robe. Its light pulsed like a heartbeat. Daniel frowned. What is that? Her voice shook. A seal. It can erase my presence from their sensors. If I use it on myself, they will believe I am gone. They will stop hunting, but it only works once. Daniel's eyes widened. You mean, you'll disappear forever? She nodded, tears shining in her glowing eyes. They will never find me. You will live. Humanity will live. That is my choice. Daniel's chest burned with anger and sorrow. No, that's not living. That's hiding. You saved me, Leora. Now let me save you. The soldiers' voices rose, their lights breaking through the trees. Time was over. Leora lifted the crystal, her hands trembling. Close your eyes, Daniel. Do not watch me vanish. But Daniel grabbed her hand, pulling the crystal away. I closed my eyes once, and you saved me. This time I'll keep them open, because I will save you. Before she could answer, the soldiers appeared, their weapons raised. Daniel stepped in front of her, his body glowing faintly from the power of her milk. Energy blasts lit the night, but he moved with impossible speed, striking them down one by one. His roar echoed through the valley, a human standing against an empire. But the numbers were endless. For every soldier he defeated, more came. His strength began to fade, his body shaking. Leora cried out, rushing to his side. Stop, they will kill you! Daniel's voice was rough but strong. Then let them see what it means to fight a human. Something inside her broke. She could not watch him fall. She could not let his sacrifice end in the dirt. With trembling hands, she lifted the crystal again, not toward herself, but toward the soldiers. The seal pulsed, and a blinding wave of light burst across the valley. The soldiers screamed, their weapons failing, their armor shattering. The ground shook as the energy spread, consuming everything in its path. When the light faded, silence returned. The soldiers were gone, erased from the valley. The forest glowed softly again. Leora fell to her knees, weak from the power she had unleashed. Daniel caught her before she hit the ground. His body ached, but his arms were steady. You saved me, he whispered. Her lips trembled. No, we saved each other. They sat together on the cliff, the stars bright above them. For the first time, there was no sound of engines, no shadows of hunters, only silence and the bond between them. Leora rested her head on his shoulder. We cannot go back. Not to my people, not to yours. We are fugitives now. Daniel looked at the stars, his eyes hard but hopeful. Then we make our own path, together. And so began the legend of the human and the alien nurse. Two souls bound by milk, by trust, and by a choice that changed everything.